Hi guys, this is John back again with another final reveal video. Today we're looking at the finished result of the Airfix Series 1 1/72nd scale Westland Scout AH Mark 1. This kit originated from a blister pack, so it's the age of the actual moulding in the kit wasn't that long, so the actual model itself seemed to have no serious issues, not an awful lot of abnormalities, burr or flash on the parts whatsoever, so I was quite pleased with that. And the amount of work I had to do in preparatory work wasn't that much, although there was quite a bit of mod work done on this kit, mainly to the engine, as you can probably see. Basically, the engine has been bulked out with the use of some plasticine wraps, which didn't change the overall shape of the engine model, the actual modelled engine that you got in the kit, but it did change the dimensions of the engine itself in terms of its circumference of the engine, the main build of the engine, not the length. The length of the engine is pretty correct, but the fact is that the engine that you get in the model is too narrow, it's too skinny, and it needed bolstering out. And also the exhaust pipes you get in the kit's engine they're pretty dire. So I had to modify the exhaust pipes by basically chopping them down, leaving bare stubs at the end to mount to rolled in straws, which were cut to size, and these were formed in a V formation at the back of the engine itself, and then angled slightly upwards because I had a side view image of the helicopter in question. And the exhaust pipes definitely do seem to stick slightly upwards at the back, but the rest of the engine's decking detail is actually quite accurate. If I turn the helicopter around a little bit for you here, you'll be able to see exactly what I mean. I've got issues with the rotor hub, I'll explain about that in a minute, but you can see that the actual decking of the helicopter, let's take the rotors off actually, you can see the decking of the decking parts on the helicopter's engine there are quite nicely reproduced. So yeah, I was quite impressed with the way this helicopter came out, because overall the Airfix Wessex is actually quite accurate, apart from the engine itself. The engine is dire, and the rotor hub itself, there isn't really enough detail in it, but it's so small, the amount of detailing that you'd have to do would take forever, and yeah, I didn't really think it was worth it. I had three other issues with this kit. You had to drill the tail rotor out. The actual aperture of the hole in the tail rotor was too small, so you had to drill it out. And I was concerned about drilling it out too much and ending up with a gash in the side, which would mean I'd have to stick the tail rotor in place. But it does rotate, but it is a bit on the stiff side, unfortunately. So yeah, that was an issue with the kit as well. The second issue you had, well I had with this particular kit, but not everyone's going to have it, is with the main rotor shaft, because the main rotor shaft was missing quite a lot of its rotor head mount section to the shaft. I only had a little stub end, which is why when you put the rotors into place, they don't sit on the rotor hub very well. They tend to flop down on one side for some reason. I don't really, yeah. But that's because the actual stub that's mounting the rotor blades is too short. And this was due to the fact that it must have snapped off before I actually got hold of the kit, which is a shame. The other thing is, I'll take the rotors off just to show you this. There's two more issues I found with this kit. One of the main issue, which everyone's going to have, is the actual fixing in position of the actual main skids, because as you can see, the skid arrangement is very delicate. It's quite thin, and the support struts, believe it or not, they're actually all different parts. The skids stick onto the sides of the support struts, and then you've got two side, they look like shock absorbers of some sort or other, which attach to the side, and all this has to be set and put aside to dry. And the only way I could get this done was to use two Revell acrylic paint pots from a starter set, which were narrow enough and high enough to give the clearance available that was needed to allow the skis to set in the correct position. And the other issue I had with this kit is to do with the canopy roof. Now, I don't know if you can see it very well there, but the canopy roof and the windscreen, it sits okay, but at the front, where the windscreen joins the front nose section, it was a bit short. Wasn't. It's not actually giving it enough grief. It was about 2mm short. So the only way to deal with this was to put a filler section underneath the windscreen and then tuck it in so that it sort of followed the contours of the windscreen, and then paint it all up in the camo scheme colour. And it's sort of gone okay, hasn't it? I'm quite, it's sort of okay. My engine's dropping a bit, so I'll have to. This is getting worse and worse, isn't it? But basically, yeah, the windscreen needed a little bit of work doing to it there, which, yeah, it worked out in the end anyway. For anyone interested in knowing, the windscreen cover at the top is painted in semi-gloss matte 85 Humbrol black, and it's a very, very thin coat which allows you to just see through the smokiness of the top of the canopy there, and then the rest of the canopy is defined in matte black so that you can see the frame on it. And that worked out rather well as well. I was quite impressed with the way that worked out. So that's basically the final reveal of the Scout. I'm going to have to refix the engine because for some reason it's coming adrift at the back there. Yeah, but that's basically the final reveal on the Scout. I was quite pleased with the way this kit actually ended up turning out. I did utilise a different roundel for the sides there on the back of the decking. The roundels came from a different aircraft kit which I built several months ago. Actually, it was earlier last year, and they seem to work quite well. I was quite impressed with the way the overall look of this helicopter looks. So that's the Airfix Westland Scout H Mark 1. I hope this video has been of some use to you. Anyone thinking about building this particular model? I hope that any of the issues that I've raised, I hope you don't encounter all of them, but you probably will encounter at least one or two of them. But as I said, the overall the overall result that I got with this, I was quite pleased with. I think it's turned out okay. So I hope the video has been of some use to you lads. If you like what you see, give me a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, check out my other videos and subscribe if you like what you see. All comments are all very much appreciated, and any questions I'll get back to them as soon as possible. Thanks for watching. I'll see you for the next one. Bye bye.